Hello and welcome back to the Stationary Dev. Today we have another pen review, and this one is a good one. This one is a classic. It is a staple of the fountain pen hobby community, arsenal, whatever you want to call it. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Lamy 2000 fountain pen, sort of Lamy's flagship fountain pen, and rightly so. It was one of my first gold nib pens that I ever got. I think it's probably my second or third gold nib pen that I got. Maybe it's my second one. And it's still one of my favorites. It's got to be up there in the top, whatever pens. Maybe, definitely my top 10. It could go even higher than that. It's a classic design. It's been around for a long time, years and years. So, been around. It's tried and true. It's a good pen. I got mine for under $150 off of Amazon. And if you buy it through a US retailer, if that's what you want to do, it retails in the US at most places for around $223. So about a $70 markup from what you can get on Amazon, but it's good to support US businesses and stuff like that as well. As far as the packaging goes, it's actually pretty sleek. It's a cardboard box. It's sort of got this striated sort of pattern, a little Lamy badge that's plastic, I guess. It has one magnetic thing here, and then you open it again here, so you have this sort of, I don't know what you would call that, but opens up. You got your pin sleeve thing. You have your Lamy printout about all of their designs and stuff like that. What's on this side, how to fill every pen that they own, and you get a little pack of silica gel. So we're gonna throw that away. And it has this sort of this is like a soft material in here. It's fluffy, kind of soft material, cardboard though, and your pen rests right in there when you open it for the first time. So I think it's a good, cost-effective, but also visually appealing packaging. That's not too over the board. It's not just a cardboard box that your pen comes in, which I'm not opposed to that either. But I think this is a good middle road as far as packaging goes, to making it an experience, making it special, but also not being super, like, adding a bunch of cost to the pen. For a flagship model, this is a really affordable fountain pen. I think if you love fountain pens and you can afford it, I think everybody should have a Lamy 2000. That's on my everybody list. All right, so let's get to the pen. Of course, you didn't see any converters or cartridges in the box because this is a piston filler fountain pen. It has a very unique design, very sort of, functional, kind of minimalist design, but very attractive. It has a special material that it's made out of called macrolon, which is sort of like a brushed plastic resin. It's thick, it feels good, it feels durable. You have a little notch for decoration there. Look at that, all that decoration. You have a smooth top there. Let's see if I can get it a little bit shiny for you. There you go. Smooth top there. Really cool clip. I like this clip for a number of reasons. It says Lamy on this side, so minimal branding, but you can tell just from the pen. It's a thick metal clip, and it is spring-loaded. So you can see it there at the back as it's spring-loaded. And just tapers down. It's a cigar shape. It feels great. It's a great shape for a pen. It works. It helps with the weight distribution, all that. You get a little bit of a beveling there, and then just a little end cap there on top of the piston knob. And as you can see, I mean, if you're holding it down here, it's hard to see that this is a piston filler fountain pen, that the knob is right here. Once you get closer, you can kind of start to see it. But, I mean, if you have this in a meeting or something, it's not going to stand out like a TWSBI would, but you can just see that little crease right there where the piston knob is. So, I mean, as far as the pen goes, as you'll see, and as you have seen, as far as fit and finish and machining quality and everything, it basically, the tolerances are so tight. It's just, you're not going to find a better example of you know, a well-built, well thought out pen than the Lamy 2000. It is sleek. Its tolerances are, I mean, that's minute tolerances there to get that so smooth, and everything. So that's a good plus for it. It is a snap cap, so you hear that little snap, and then it snaps off, and it reveals a couple things. So number one, you can see there is an ink window. Not super huge or super clear, but I actually really, a lot of people don't like the ink window. I really like the ink window here. It does its job. It tells you when the pen is out of ink, and that's what I like. And as you'll see in the writing sample, I like to use bright colored inks because it really shows through that ink window there. You have these two little pins on either side for the cap to go on to. It can unscrew right here as well if you want to take the pen apart, but there's really no reason to. And then you get it down to a brushed stainless steel section here, and you have the wonderful hooded nib. So it's a hooded nib. Most of the nib is hidden, and the nib and feed are all hidden here in the section. Underneath, you have a little breakaway for the breather hole, and then just the underside of the nib, a little bit of the feed peeking out there. But it's a great pen. I actually, sometimes the people say that these little nibs or whatever, nubs, bother them. But for me, I think it really helps because this is such a round pen. I mean, for me, it kind of helps me anchor and let me know what side is up and if I'm holding it, you know, right. So it's not, I'm not kind of turning the pen, because otherwise you wouldn't really notice if you're just writing, and you know, you might not notice if you're turning the pen. I like kind of feeling that one under my thumb, and it lets me know, okay, I've got the pen in the right spot. And then the beautiful gold nib of the Lamy 2000 there. And we'll look at that more here once we get it inked up. It's a great size, so it fits most people's hands. It's not too wide, not too narrow, not too long, not too short. It feels great. The weight, because it has this stainless steel chunk at the section, and for the cigar shape, most all of the weight is right here in your fingers, which just makes this thing disappear. You can write for hours and hours and hours with this thing, no problem. All right, enough gushing about that. Moving on to the writing sample. So I told you the ink would be bright. I like putting bright inks in here, so things like, you know, you can think of like Konpeki or something, you know, a bright color that you can see through that ink window. Although there is an appeal to writing with a dark ink with this too, because it's just such a workhorse pen. It's just nice to have a workhorse ink in there. But that aside, I'm putting another bright one in because I need a splash of color this month. And I have this sample that I got for Fountain Pen Day of KWZ Grapefruit, which I've been needing to try. So this will be our ink, and we'll see if I can do it without spilling the whole thing on my desk. So, filling the piston filler, obviously the first thing we're going to do is we're going to screw down the piston. So you're unscrewing this part, and it's pushing the piston down, and you'll see it come out of the ink window there. It's not, there you can see the piston coming down. In my experience, it's not the smoothest piston, so it's not going to be super smooth like a Pelican or something. And I could probably by now sort of maybe take this off and put just a teeny bit of silicone grease inside that barrel to help it go a little bit quicker, because it is a little bit firm, but I mean, it's no problems. It's never seized up or anything, or done anything weird. But unscrew it like that. The piston is down here, and we're going to dip it in our ink and try to suck up some ink and not make a huge mess. Before I do, though, we're going to get napkins on standby. Because we will need one to wipe the nib down, the section down a little bit. So I'm going to put that in there, dip it into the breather hole, and we're going to suck up some ink. And it does hold a good bit of ink for being not being a huge fountain pen. It does hold quite a bit of ink. There is our inky section and nib. And we're just gonna run a paper towel there. Sometimes one thing I find, because this is brushed stainless steel, you can see sometimes the ink gets down in those brush marks. And so you will get inky fingers when you ink it. But that's a part of the love of the fountain pens, is you get those inky fingers from time to time. But I'll sort of just kind of rub my finger, because I'd rather just kind of get it off than have it sit on there for days and come back with inky fingers for days. I'd rather have inky fingers for one day and go back to it. So I think we got most of it off there. You see a little bit on the nib, which I'm not worried about. And as you can see, as I was mentioning, having that bright colored ink in there, you can see that ink window popping out a little bit. Even from a distance, you can see how that makes that ink window pop out. All right, so we're gonna cap. We're gonna put this away just so you can see. I think that probably used, I mean, it was close to 2 milliliters of ink. It was definitely over 1, because that was a full 4 milliliter sample. Well, I guess it used about a milliliter, because it's down at the 3 now. So in case you're wondering about ink, but super easy to fill, super quick to fill if you're just refilling, and holds a good bit of ink, which is good because this thing is usually a gusher. So let's do our writing sample. We have our Rhodia dot pad 80 GSM paper here. Sorry about that. We're just gonna get the camera around so you can see a little bit. And we're gonna do our writing sample. This is and this is a medium nib, by the way. I don't think I've said that yet, but it is a medium nib. I usually prefer finer nibs, but this is a good medium nib. It's like we're writing with a marker. Lamy 2000 with a gold medium nib. And the ink is KWZ Grapefruit. I really like this ink so far. So you can kind of see it. And it's very wet. As you heard, and as you can will probably be able to hear in the writing sample, this nib is super duper smooth. It's probably the smoothest nib I have. A glassy, buttery smooth. If you want a glassy, buttery smooth nib, the Lamy 2000 is for you. Also, this nib sings for me. So you'll hear nib sing on really smooth, nibs, and it's kind of like a squeaky kind of sound, but that's called nib sing. And this pen does it for me. Some people hate it. I kind of like it. I don't mind it. It's kind of like writing on an expo board or something. But it's a very wet pen. So this is a good one to use with shaders and sheeners and anything that you want to see those qualities of ink. I wouldn't be opposed to even putting a shimmering ink in this pen, but to each his own. I'm not even a shimmering ink guy, but I wouldn't have a problem putting a shimmering ink in here. All right, our sentence. There we go. No problems. Super smooth. Like I said, it's kind of like writing with a marker, like a felt tip pen. That's sort of the feel you get. Smooth all the way around. It's normal, sort of medium for a German or European medium nib. It's right there. It's very wet though. It's a very wet fountain pen. but I shouldn't have any problems or anything coming through there. Nope, nothing. And let's see. You're not going to get any flex out of this, really. No pressure. Maybe there's a little bit of line variation, but it's a hooded nib. It's not meant to be flexed or be pushed or anything. It's nice and bouncy. I will say that. It does have a little bit of bounce to it, and it's just super buttery, smooth, soft nib there. Cool. So I think we got most of the things we needed to cover there. I've never had this thing dry out. It's super reliable. The nib stays wet after being capped for a long time. The feed keeps up 100%. I could write for hours and hours with this and no problem at all. It's just a workhorse pen. Disappears in your hand, but feels great. Holds a lot of ink. Not enough can be said for the Lamy 2000. So, as far as the conclusion goes, this is a great pen. Absolutely stunner of a pen. It'd probably be my recommendation, one of my recommendations for a first gold nib pen. It's priced in that range with some of those other first gold nib pens, the upper 100s into the lower 200s. If it's an absolute steal if you can get it like I did for $150 or less US. Like I said, it's a workhorse of a pen if you want a pen that you can take to college or university, or take it to the office and blend in meetings and stuff like that, and that will just never let you down. Super dependable, super convenient because it has that snap cap, and it holds a lot of ink, so you don't have to worry about running out of ink. It's good in a lot of situations, so it's a workhorse of a pen that I'd recommend for everybody. Probably, like I said, the smoothest nib that I own, probably. I can't stress enough about how great of a pen the Lamy 2000 is. So that wraps up this video. Make sure to leave a comment below if you have any questions, and let me know what you think of the Lamy 2000. Do you like it? I haven't met many people that don't like it, but if you don't, why not? Or let me know if it's on your wish list, or if you're considering it for a first gold nib pen. I'm considering buying a second one in like a extra fine because I love the thing so much. Just another black one, really, because I love it. It's a perfect, it's pretty close to a perfect pen for me, so it's up there. Anyways, leave a comment if you want. Like and subscribe if you like the video. It's a free, quick, easy way. Doesn't cost you any time or money to support the channel, and it also lets you know when I release new videos, which is usually every single week. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Catch you soon.